And hello, everybody. My name is meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We have a wild storm system heading into the weekend. We have storms expected on the East Coast heading into Saturday, making its way out of the Great Lakes. That's one. Number two, the Sierra Nevada is going to get slammed, and that storm system will blossom into what could be a very impactful system all the way from Saturday for some into next week, Wednesday for others, as this puppy slowly scrapes through the central and northern plains. Severe weather threats as well. We're going to get started with what's happening right now. Here's the national radar, and let me show you, we do have some snow showers moving through the Great Lakes. This is an Alberta clipper that dumped, well, upwards of reports of a foot of snow just off to the west of the Minneapolis area. Numerous crashes and incidents from that weather system working its way now through parts of Michigan, and that's heading towards New York State. We have rain showers aplenty in the areas of Tennessee right now, with the elevated terrain picking up some more lofty rainfall totals. And look at Florida, as we have the Gulf side there inundated with some heavy showers of rain. And as we look now, we see the snow system blossoming as it's working its way towards upstate New York. There's going to be snow, and on this boundary between Erie and where we see farther south in Scranton, an area of icing possible with this system as it works its way through upstate New York and on into Maine. Ice with snow that could total well over a foot in the northeast as well. Thanks, Delrich33, for joining us. Good evening to you. Thanks for chiming in and letting me know where you're watching from. I always like to know. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, here's what's going on. The precipitation is just now making landfall in California and western parts of Oregon, as well as the Seattle-Tacoma area. And we're going to see this enhanced amount of moisture continue to bring that flow of moisture right up into the Sierra Nevada, where once again, we're going to see some ridiculous snowfall potential once again. Deb, good to have you on board from the Fargo area as we brace for a slap from good old Mother Nature here in the Northern Plains. Let's talk about our forecast, shall we? We're going to take a look at that American model and model the details of this system across the nation for now. Now, we're going to take you in on this as we go through tonight. Now, the snow that we're seeing in the Northeast is going to continue spreading into New York. And look at all of the pink areas that we see here. Now, pardon me while I jump back to it. So as this system moves through, the snow really gets going tonight, overnight, and into the wee hours of the morning. So this is midnight on our Friday night, heading into Saturday morning. So places like Vermont, New Hampshire will all see heavy snow, while heavy rain makes its way off the mid-Atlantic coast. Now, as that system works its way off to the east, you see the areas of pink right here. That's some icing potential with that system as it works its way through. Meanwhile, as we go into Saturday, light snow develops in the Dakotas as our main event starts taking shape out to the west. A very strong and slow-moving low-pressure system is making its way into the northwestern part of the United States, and as that low dives southward, it's going to bring a prolonged period of snow to the Sierra Nevada. Here it is tonight and into Saturday, and it lasts all the way into Sunday, with more snow bands making their way in with wave after wave of energy from the atmosphere. That should end as we head into the late weekend and early part of the work week. Meanwhile, this area of low pressure dives into Colorado, blossoms into a Colorado low, scooping moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico, rocking that northward into the northern plains, where it's going to blossom into a snow event, a winter storm. Winter storm warnings in place for parts of Montana already, winter storm watches elsewhere, and this storm looks capable of some blizzard-like conditions at the very least, particularly in open country. I think the bullseye from this storm will be the southern part of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, particularly the eastern third of South Dakota into southern Minnesota, where the snow begins right here. This is Sunday morning, and it doesn't shut off. The snow machine just keeps blasting snow and wind through parts of eastern South Dakota all the way into Monday night. There is Tuesday morning, and it's still snowing as this system slowly lifts northward into parts of southern Canada. Now, if you see the central plains here, some unsettled, strong thunderstorm potential will be there, and that has my dogs a-barking. I don't know about yours. Now, as we go through, that's a look at that. I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the celebration for Easter Sunday and Easter weekend, the Holy Week coming up, and another storm will be making its way through the West Coast. A couple of them, do you see them? Twins. Now, this is the 29th. On Good Friday at noon, there's a chance for some mixed weather through the Central Plains, but another system could impact California, Nevada, the mountains of Utah and Colorado, spreading into the northern plains once again. That is a long, long ways out, but multiple models do show unsettled weather heading in to the Easter Sunday timeframe. Keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at how much snow, shall we? Let's do the snow tracking as we take a look at the European model. I use this one particularly for days beyond day 3 or 4 most commonly because I find it to be a little bit more consistent with its ability to be on track with the track of a storm. Hey, Hutch says, oopsie, Steve, bring on the snow. Good to hear from you. A plumber in Minnesota joining Kyle. Thanks for joining and checking out the broadcast here. Now, here is the northeastern United States. Most of the snow on your ground by the time you get to Saturday night. You see that? Upstate New York, New York City, not so much. Boston, not so much. But you get just north into Vermont, New Hampshire, we're going to have ice and snow. And the snowfall amounts, as you see on my window there, in this area could be a foot or more of snow for some areas, making travel very difficult, if not impossible. That's by Saturday as we go through the end of the day. Things will be rocking in the mountains out west as well as we see the Sierra Nevada picking up a good 1 to 3 feet of snow there, according to this model. Even the western Rockies of Colorado, western Rockies of Wyoming and Montana will get some beneficial snowfall from this system, as could Arizona in the mountains for those areas. Look at out there near Snoqualmie Pass, too. We could see some lofty snowfall totals for you. Now, the main event in the Dakotas will really begin on Sunday in the midday hours, and it lasts all the way until Wednesday morning for some. So pausing this in the Wednesday morning time frame and looking at some of the snowfall potential here, we're talking a few places getting over 8 to 12 inches of snow, and some could see 18 to 24 inches of snow. Combine that with 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, and I do think that there'll be an enhanced chance for some blizzard-like conditions across portions of the nation. Now, when we're talking about strong storms in the severe weather track, let's go ahead and turn our attention right back to what's going on with regards to our outlooks for the severe storms on day 2 or tomorrow. We have just a marginal risk of severe weather across the nation. I'll pop up the radar on this for you so we can look together. So as we go through the next 24 hours here, there it is. We'll go ahead and take a look at the severe weather risk as we take a gander across the nation. So here we go. Let's take a look at that. Outlooks and monitoring, severe weather day 2. Here's day 1. So let's look at tonight's risk of severe weather. We're talking very South Florida near Miami and the Keys has a slight risk of seeing some of these storms off the Keys becoming strong, maybe even an isolated tornado or two. We see some thunderstorm activity not far from you folks in Miami. That's tonight's risk of severe weather. Looking at the Storm Prediction Center's forecast for severe weather as we go into day 2, not as strong, just a marginal risk. And then day 3, here we go. So today is day 1. It's Friday, Saturday. This is Sunday when the big storm rocks its way and brings the potential for blizzard conditions and winter storm conditions up north. Here's what we're expecting in the south. This low will bring a chance for some severe weather in central parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and anywhere you see the green, that's a level 1 called a marginal risk of severe weather. A few storms may become severe. So we'll keep our eyes on this. I do believe that we'll continue to see a risk of severe weather into next week as we go through Sunday and Monday as this storm system continues to work its way through the Central Plains. So that is a look at what we have going on across the nation. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. It's a wonderful thing to have you on board. I like having your comments, questions. If you like the video, please give the video a like and share with your friends. Let them know Hutch is here talking about the weather. Again, a risk for some blizzard-like conditions. Let's take a quick peek at what the National Weather Service is saying for snowfall amounts in a couple of these places, and that'll be the thing that we close with here. So I'll turn off the severe weather risk for Sunday, and now we're going to look at what's going on right now with regards to forecasts from your local National Weather Services. We're going to start from the East Coast, which is where things are beginning now. If you look, we have winter weather advisories in blue across Buffalo, Syracuse. You get north of Syracuse, it's winter storm warning. warnings. And here the National Weather Service says we're expecting anywhere up to 14 inches of snow, not far from that Buffalo area, with gusty winds that could be very excessive. And there could be a thin layer of ice with this system as well. The warning is in effect until Saturday night at 11 o'clock. Bangor, Maine, as we look up in your area, we're expecting the storm system to advance into the northern parts of Maine. 8 to 17 inches of powdery white goodness for you. 35-mile-per-hour winds making travel difficult, if not impossible in some areas. So that's the Northeast. We're talking about New Hampshire, Connecticut, all of Maine, and northern parts of, well, it does look like northern parts of the state of New York will be impacted mostly. I do think we could see some enhanced snowfall amounts from that system working through Erie, and southern parts of New York near Binghamton could see some snow and ice from this system as well. Now, as we trek out westward, here is the system that has a winter storm warning in effect for places in Montana. Now, eastern Montana is expecting 5 to 9 inches with 40-mile-per-hour gusts, making travel unpleasant. But in South Dakota here, we're seeing where we saw the models indicating the snowfall potential upwards of 20 inches. Here's what the National Weather Service is saying in that area. Accumulations in excess of 8 inches for the I-29 corridor through eastern South Dakota. 40-mile-per-hour winds look to be likely. Get into Minnesota here as we take a look at what the National Weather Service there is saying. Again, the time frame on this is from Sunday morning through Tuesday morning. That's Sunday, snowing for the better part of the day, Monday, and even into Tuesday morning. That's 2 days of snow potential and heavy at times. 45-mile-per-hour winds, 18 inches are possible. I do think pockets of even more than that will be heard of, and it could cripple traffic. Notice Minneapolis, the airport there could be under the gun, could impact air travel nationwide. Sioux Falls, Fargo airports impacted, and Bismarck, as well as Pierre, Rapid City, and possibly Billings, Montana. Denver, Colorado, though, that airport hub there, not expected to see the biggest punch from this particular storm. That will be to the north. Now we're going to turn our attention to the West Coast and the Sierra Nevada, the storm that's getting started right now and that will last until we get into Sunday. As we look in on the Reno area and the Truckee Pass for all them truckers on I-80 coming across the range there, we're expecting 45-mile-per-hour gusts, 1 to 2 feet with 3 to 4 feet or even more at the high peaks. That's a boatload of snow on top of a very snowy month and a half here. And we're expecting this to last all the way until 8 in the morning on Sunday. So travel through that area between this evening, now, and Sunday could be quite difficult, if not impossible at times. That's a look at the nation's weather with forecasts from your local National Weather Service office. I encourage you to stay up to date with the latest. And for travel plans in the northern plains, the Northeast, and the West Coast, make sure you keep them fluid and be ready to change your travel plans. And a reminder for us northern folks, do not even try to drive without a survival kit in your vehicle. You could be stranded on the roadside. You want to make sure you have what you need to stay safe. Have a wonderful evening. I'll keep you updated right here on Hutch's Weather. Thanks for watching. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Love the likes. Consider subscribing. Hit the dingle bell for more from me to be notified.